everyone, my name is Grace. Welcome to live session at Bentley Music. This series is to celebrate 48th anniversary of Bentley Music. And of course, we've had a few artists coming over to talk about their insight and their stories. Today, I have LOGuitarist, known as Lo, who's masterfully produced his guitar-driven instrumental album. Today, he will take you to his journey of his art. Hi Lo, thank you for joining us today. And you have been in this music industry for some time already, right? And you've done various work from performances to film scoring, and basically you wear many hats. And I'm curious, how would you introduce yourself and describe yourself with a guitar?
A guitarist, music producer, content creator, and also a pathfinder. Why would I say pathfinder? Because I always believe there is more. There is always something bigger out there for us to explore. And I would love to be the one to pioneer or to find those paths and show people, here's another way, here's another world. Let's do something new. That's what I believe. That's what I always love to do.
But still, you have so many hats that you wear. Yep. And then I'm sure you have so many stories to share with us today as well.
Yep.
All right, so for our next question, your approach and the methods of performance on the guitar has definitely attracted many audiences, right? Would you share with us how you started playing the instrument and what attracted you to this genre, specific genre, math rock, alternative progressive rock? Or who or what inspired you?
I started with bass first, when I was 11. My mom took me to a rock concert, and I saw this bassist slapping on the bass, and that inspired me quite a lot. So while I was learning bass in a music center, I picked up guitar on my own, and eventually I chose guitar instead of bass as my principal instrument. So while I was studying in ICOM, which stands for International College of Music, I was exposed to all sorts of advanced, progressive, technical music, jazz, classical, orchestral, progressive metal, progressive rock, all that kind of stuff. So from there onwards, I become very into complex music, and technicality in music has been very ingrained in me. So I was easily drawn to that kind of stuff. So one time, my friend showed me 3 bands: Periphery, Tesseract, and Animals as Leaders. So these 3 bands actually changed my entire perspective in music. Their overall sound package, the complexity of their instrument playing has really opened my mind to a lot of possibility, things that were not done. They did it, and they actually really created a lot of stuff and a lot of new stuff back then. And so even though today my music doesn't really reflect their style, but it has been a great inspiration, especially in my early phase of my solo career. Also, one of my biggest inspiration for the album, the second album.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that is a very short story, what inspired you and why you pick up the guitar from the first place. My next question after that is Point Zero to Gravity. It's an album back to where you've always wanted to be, where you wanted to be. Yeah, guitarist.
Yep.
And rebuilding yourself as one, right?
Yeah.
Would you tell us more about the album and the guitars that you used when you produced an album as well?
Right. The album was about me going back to the place where all this thing began, to the place where I was being inspired. And also to ask myself questions, a lot of questions like, why did I even choose this path in the first place? and what kept me burning for so many years, and why and how have I lost it? Because for a period of time, I was very, very lost, doing a lot of commercial jobs and film score. And so I had to create this space and this opportunity for myself to regain my passion in music. And so this is the album as a result of that journey. So I went back to my root as a guitarist and rebuilt my confidence in making music. And so the whole album was actually arranged in a storytelling sequence. There is a beginning, there is an end, and it ends with a song called Yield, which tells a message of remembering and going back to your roots, to your dreams, to regain the passion, to regain that first fire that set you off in the beginning. And so in terms of the production, I use 4 guitars. The first one was this, an hardcore series, AFS 75T. I always have a hard time remembering the model, especially this one. I use this one for the first song only because it has a very rich and acoustic light sound character, and that's what I was looking for in the first song. And the second guitar, well, this has been with me for around 20 years. In fact, these 2 guitars has been with me for around 20 years. And this is RT series AR300. I like this guitar because it has a very solid high mid tone, which cut through the mix very well. And I use it for most of the solo for the entire albums. But unfortunately, this guitar and that guitar was in a terrible shape. I didn't maintain them well, so sorry, Ibanez. And in fact, the third guitar was Ibanez 1527. It's a 7-string guitar, which I don't have now. It's in the workshop. I used that one for everything else, for chords, riff, for line, solo, everything heavy. And that particular guitar was a drop tune. I use a standard D tuning with a low G. If you want to see that guitar, go to my Instagram or go to my YouTube channel, and you will see that guitar a lot. And this one, the fourth one that I use is this QX52. I use this only for the solo, the final solo of Unholy, because I bought this guitar towards the end of the production. And so unfortunately, I can only use this for the final solo. But this guitar is probably my best guitar. Seriously, if you're looking for something ergonomic, don't look anymore. If you're looking for something highly saturated, characterful, this is the one that you should be trying.
All right, Lo. So will you talk about the range of these guitars on stage that it's with you? Now I want to move on to just specific brand that we are with, which is Ibanez. What attracted you to this brand specifically? And I see that you have 8 strings and you have 7 strings, right? Different range as well. So what plans do you have when it comes to like having more strings? And what do you see or what do you hear?
To me personally, I believe Ibanez remains the most exciting guitar brand out there, simply because they are constantly innovating. They are constantly creating new stuff. They are constantly looking out for the needs of modern musicians. And they are always in perfect alignment with what's going on in the music world. And that's great. I've been using Ibanez for close to 20 years. And even until right now, you know, when I picked up an 8-string or a 7-string guitar, sometimes I would still feel disoriented, to be honest, because of the extra strings. Sometimes to the point of not knowing what exactly that I'm doing. But that's the point. Because sometimes when you struggle, that's where creativity kicks in. And in a way, I need the extra strings to kind of like help me innovate. Because if I'm totally comfortable, I will do the usual stuff, and the outcome may be as usual, and that's not what I was looking for. You know, sometimes when I feel uncomfortable, I would accidentally bump into something interesting, you know, especially with the extra strings. And so they really helped me. The extra strings and the extended range really helped me to innovate, to think out of the box. Yeah, I really need that.
And then, of course, that also helped you or initiated you to create more songs for your
Definitely.
albums in the past and also in the future, right?
Definitely.
So we'll talk about another one called Freedom. So you have, of course, different sets of albums there. And I see that you have very short compositions, yeah, with the different locations. And that's
Yeah.
very aesthetically beautiful. But this also reminded me a bit of a Ichikanito style.
Yeah,
Yeah, with the
definitely.
different locations. Yeah. And this collection of Freedom, right? What motivated you to come up with this collection?
I'm a content creator, so one of the greatest challenge that I'm still dealing with is actually the nicheness of my content, guitar, instrumental, especially in this part of the world. If you're not a musician, if you're not a guitarist, you can easily find my content irrelevant. And so how do I stand out? Not just as a guitarist, but also as a content creator. The most convincing idea that I could think of was incorporating interesting locations and also cinematography. So though I'm not an expert, though I'm not a professional photography, but I was learning very hard on this one. And so when I began to do this, I discovered that the people that usually didn't respond to my music began to respond to me, began to respond to my videos. They were talking about, like, you know, the video that I've taken, and then how good it is that, and what camera I was using and all those. And I remember one time, one of my friends actually messaged me and thanked me for making a video near Gota Bridge in Klang, which is a beautiful industrial steel bridge. So he told me his story of how he grew up around that area, and my video, my music invoked a lot of good memories. And that's just amazing, you know. I didn't know, I didn't expect that it would inspire people in that way. And so, yeah, a lot of people begin to approach me and talk to me, you know, because even though they were not able to relate to my music, especially those sophisticated guitar playing, but there's something in the background, something around that attract them, that really that they can relate to, whether it's a beautiful landscape or interesting architectural, or maybe it's just the spot itself that invoked memory. And so that was, I didn't know that it would turn out surprisingly well, but yeah, hopefully I can do more of that.
So it is very interesting to hear about the stories that you're connecting with the stories about the location as well, on top of your stories for the songs. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have anything that you want to add on to that particular?
I was sometimes I already have a list. I already know where am I gonna go for the filming, and sometimes I will look at the location and I will write based on the locations, or you know, sometimes it's the other way around. So it was quite interesting that, you know, when I look at this beautiful or interesting architectural, and I was able to translate whatever I see into my guitar playing. You know, sometimes I I have idea like that, when I was writing.
Interesting. So that made me even more curious about your next project, if you don't mind sharing. Do you have anything coming up?
I am. First thing is I'm working on a single, and then the second one is that I have a couple of collaboration with a established production house on some interesting music video. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but it's in the process. And I'm also planning to rework some of the songs, some of the composition from the Freedom series, and make it into an EP.
Oh.
So if you're watching this right now, maybe you can, ask me or write it in the comment below, and which one that you would want to see me rework. I think that would be interesting. And of course, with Bentley music, there will be a lot of interesting stuff coming up, a lot of live events, shows.
So to remember, audiences, he just asked us to leave comments about the songs that you would like to hear Lo rearranging or having another touch on the albums that he worked on, Freedom especially. All right. Well, before we wrap up this session, are there anything that you want to share this session or any messages to our audiences?
I will summarize this whole thing with one sentence. To always dare to attempt the impossible and to explore the unfamiliar.
All right, so that's it for a live session at Bentley Music. Thank you so much, Lo, for coming over. And I hope to have more collaboration with you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.